Basically, we're going to talk about Hush Hush Charlotte and Hell Night simultaneously in one live. So, Hush Hush Charlotte, like I mentioned in the review, was about this woman who was responsible, supposedly responsible for her husband's decease. She calls out her husband's name, all this and that. There's a lot of symbolism of that type of stature and talking about that satire, such analysis, synopsis, and symbolism. Cast is great, cinematography is great, kills are great. We get some capitations. Same with the last film I watched, Hell Night, which is basically centered around some of the same type of like sequences within the film, basically. Not exactly all the same thing, but there are similar kills and stuff like that. Different date, well, different year in which they were released, but rather similar in approaches and similar uh, synopsis, analysis, and summary, and symbolisms, basically. Except one's about a haunted mansion, and the other's about a woman's deceased husband and her being blamed for his apparent murder. I thought she did a great job of selling and acting as if though she was insane and losing it and this and that. You know, she did a great job. Her and the Davis woman, or that other woman, had a rivalry to where they didn't like each other. There was a woman who was supposed to be on the film prior to that, but she got replaced in the movie because she couldn't coexist with the actor, basically. So, yeah, there was that. But even though she wasn't in it, I think she still did a great job. The person they went with, the male characters, the guy who was the husband, the body, the whole dead body, and the double. I'm assuming it was a double they used with the neck being cut off, just the head. She's calling out to this guy's name. This woman's insane. She's insane, bro. She's insane. She's crazy. She's a loose cannon, bro. And she sold us very well on the movie, as did the characters. It starts off on Hell Night with a party. We start off in a party sort of environment with this frat slash fraternity, which I thought was a pretty cool setting. It looked believable enough to pass for goddamn sorority, in my opinion. Very, 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 very believable. Say the least. If you haven't seen either of these movies, I highly recommend you watch it. Let me know what you think. I thought they were rather interesting to watch. Absolutely. Based off cinematography, based off characters, based off chemistry, based off kills, based off believability, based off creativity, cinematography, just the whole art behind the acting and the kills, and especially the 1964 one. That's hella nostalgic. Yes, the 1981 film was nostalgic, but like I'm a big, firm guy who enjoys going into history and checking out old school movies. And Hush Hush Charlotte was incredible, very incredible. If y'all haven't seen them, Hell Night or Hush Hush Charlotte, I highly recommend you go watch. You won't be disappointed. I wouldn't point you to a movie and lie to you and say it's bad. Because it's not. That would be tough. Like Illuminati said, that would be tough. Y'all see the here though. I did this all by myself. I ain't need no help. But yeah. What else happened? We had the little friend of her knowing what happened, what they did to Miss Charlotte, right? She was sick. She wasn't getting out of bed. She was just laying around in bed. So there was this whole assumption that she was sick or somebody did something to her. Like they could have poisoned her. They could have did something to her. Whatever. Blase, blase. There was that whole thing. Now let's go to Hell Night. Now Hell Night, we got our first kill. There's love making scene in it, but I kind of bypassed it. Like I wasn't even really looking at that. Like I was more in tune with the kills and the whole cinematography and the whole look. That's what I was enthralled by. I wasn't enthralled by no love making scenes and this and that. I was more into the whole art behind the film and the whole creativity and how each cast member is gonna get killed off or blase blase. That's what caught my attention. The other stuff, that extra stuff, didn't catch my attention. So we get a scene when those two are making love. The surfer looking dude who looks like he passes for a surfer looking dude. They end up making love. He leaves to go out to go do something. Next thing you know, one of the monsters creeps up on his girl, right? He creeps up on his girl. What ends up happening is he kills the blonde surfer looking dude with Jiggy's girl. That was the first kill. I thought that came off pretty well. In that we don't see a full body, so I'm assuming what he did, he chopped up off her ligaments, and what we get is just the whole head, which I'm assuming, like, that symbolizes decapitation, because typically what happens when you're decapitated, like, there's no body. I mean, for some decapitations, there might be a body to it, I don't know, but there was no body in this case, which I thought played out very well for a film of this stature, Hell Night from 1981. The whole art behind it, the whole creativity, the whole nostalgia, the whole acting, of course they used a double to like create this whole sequence and scene and moment. That was very interesting. We have a couple who sits by the campfire. They kind of fill each other out, get to know each other. The girl with the blonde hair up, earrings. I thought her and the guy she was dealing with, messing with. There was no love, mate. Yeah, there was. There was a kiss. There was this and that, But they did a great job of acting as a couple and, acting as though they were in love and liked each other and loved each other. That whole art and whole scene, that romantic scene, that was very creative, the way that came off, and just the whole display of, romantic art and romantic literature within the movie. I rather enjoyed. It came off very well. What else? We had damn, why can't I remember the nerdy looking dude with the black hat and outfit. He was killed off rather simply, that was a simple death. What else? The dude with the hat, the president, was kind of given the history on the murders and what had happened in the film. So I thought that was very interesting that we got backstory and history and logic and, stuff that was happening told in the film. Thought that was very good. Very, very good. Came off very interesting. What else happened? We hear a yell in this movie, a very, very loud yell. Not like, ah! It was like, I'm sure people from the rooftops could hear that female yelling because it was so loud. It wasn't forced. It came off authentic. It came off very well, very interesting, very, how could I put this? It came off very authentic. We'll just say it came off authentic. There's nothing more real I can say than the word authentic. You know? Simple as that. What else happened? What else? We had another monster too, second monster. We did get somebody dying because they committed suicide. That was explained in the beginning of the movie, which was okay. That's that's obviously not good, but being explained in a film, I like that they touched and brought light upon the fact that somebody committed suicide. You see me rubbing my nose, it's because I've got a little nose. Like, I've been having like sneezing issues and shit like that. So my KJ don't mind me. But for real though, I enjoyed every kill. I enjoyed every little scene and every little kill. We did have somebody get thrown out of a window to their death, which, whew, that was brutal. That decapitation was brutal. The one dude dying was brutal. Our surviving cast members was the blonde chick. I'm sure that dude remained alive. Although the dude tried to escape the gate, which was interesting. What was interesting that they did was they shot through the gate to get over the gate. The ones that went into the house. The ones that stayed in over the gate, they just stayed there unless they came in. I'm pretty sure they came in at some point though within the film, you know? So I enjoyed those little aspects of the movie, you know? What else happened? I'm trying to think what else happened. So I'm not just sounding like a broken record over here. We had a lot of like going into the dude's mansion, the guy's lair. We had that, people going into the our killer's lair or whatever, which I thought was pretty cool. We've had that in subspecies too, which I thought was pretty cool, where these people would go into our vampire's lair and, you know, certain things would transpire, you know. What do you expect if you go into somebody's home, or you go into somebody's lair, or you go into somebody's private property? Because that's what it is at that point. You're going into somebody's private property without being welcome. You're bound to get done up. Real talk. You're going to get done up. That's as simple. That's as simple as that. You're going to get done up. One up, done up. That's how that is, you know. Sometimes when I speak, I realize my Indian accent that shit start to crack out at times. You feel me? But what else? I'm trying to remember, y'all. At this point, I'm just reviewing Hell Night and forgetting about Hush Hush Charlotte, because that's pretty simplistic. Yes, it's a nostalgic, classic film, but I've already explained in the review vividly and touched upon it vividly on what I think about the movie vividly. So you guys watch that review and you'll get everything there is to know opinion-wise about Hush Hush Charlotte in my review I just put up like a couple minutes ago. So yeah. But Hell Night, I like the whole fraternity slash sorority idea. Of course, a sorority is a female type of college party. See, I'm smart. Like, that's a female thing. That's what they call a sorority. That's more of a woman terminology now. Fraternity, we know that's for males. That's a male thing. A fraternity. What you do in a fraternity? You party, you drink, you smoke. You know? That's the type of shit you do out of. And this was turned too. Like, we had people in costumes. We had people getting drunk. No weed or no, like, none of that sort of stuff. But a woman even mentions, I'm a little tipsy. I thought that was funny. She said, I'm just a little tipsy. That was phenomenal. The way she said it, though, the way she said it, I'm a little tipsy. I'm just a little tipsy. Man, that was funny. Funny as hell. I'm trying to think what else, though. The location and where it was shot was great. That was great. Really great. Um, Trying to think. See, I'm forgetting shit already, bro, about this movie. I'm forgetting. Um, Trying to think. Uh, so I'm not just sounding like a broken record, like I said. Uh, I went over the kills. Trying to think what else. We had this girl, right, in this like bandana wrapped around her hair, right, like that sort of thing. Dude spotted her in the party and was like, "That's my type right there," cause he previously seen the girl with the slick back bun earring. He said that wasn't his type. He liked that girl I just had told you about. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. A little humorous, you know, if you may say, a little humorous. But that's what you expect out of a movie. Woohoo! Yee. I'm being funny as hell. But try and really think what else happened though for y'all. I'm not just trying to randomly think of something random. I want to really remember what happened. Um, and both of the like looks for the killer looks pretty cool. Are monsters. Look pretty good, to say the least. Um, Trying to think. Our leader of the fraternity was a magician. He dressed up as a magician. I thought that was pretty cool. He reminded me of that dude from like who sung "Panic in a Disco Room" from the one song was like, "Close the goddamn door now. It's better to face these kind of things." That's who he reminded me of. With the black hair, the hat, the whole suit get up, like that's who he reminded. I swear to God, that's who dude reminded me of. No kizzy. I noticed that. It's interesting. I don't know if he was supposed to come off looking like a magician or Dan dude from Panic at the Disco. Like, cause that's what he looked like. People probably in the chat like, LOL, you kind of funny. I'm just saying, that's what it looked like. He looked like him. That's tough. That's tough. You know? I'm not trying to join on him. I'm just saying, he looks like dude from Panic in the Disco. That's all. That's it. What else? What else? Um, we had that sex scene that would lead to girl's death. Hey, would you look at that? Yet another movie that after making love, well, she wasn't really nude, which I appreciated. It was more like she was in her panties and bra. She woke up after a little nap. And then they ended up later on in the scene. This was in the beginning. Well, she was drinking previously. Then she wound up sleeping afterwards. Then they ended up doing the hoop in the hoop, you know? We'll just say that. The hoop in the hoop. And then after that, he comes back. She's wound up decapitated. And yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. You know? She's basically decapitated and stuff like that. I'm doing this review standing up, because that's what I have to do, you feel me? But overall, they're both incredible movies. Hell Night and Hush Hush Charlotte. Highly recommended. Anyway, I love you guys. I'm getting off this.